Hello guys, hope you're doing fine wherever you're watching me from. Today I'm going to show you my home lab, and I'm going to show you also how to configure a Cisco router. And let's see what we have here. Let's start. This one is my green NAS storage device. This one is a storage device. Okay. But that's not the focus of this video. Okay. This is my home lab. Now, I'm preparing for my CCNA exam, and as part of my project, I'm doing this home lab on how to configure switches, especially Cisco switches, Cisco routers, and I'm really good with this stuff. Now, let's start with this one. This is a Cisco switch. SG, what do we have here? SG 250 baud gigabit smart switch. Within this same switch, I was able to configure 3 VLANs, VLAN 10, VLAN 20, VLAN 30. And maybe somebody may ask, what's the role of a VLAN? VLAN is a virtual local area network and is able to segment a network so that it makes easier port security or maintenance. Yep, that's the role of a switch, that's the role of a VLAN. Now, is to connect devices within the same local area network. And when data is being sent from this switch, they are called frames. And a switch is able to learn MAC addresses and is able to develop a MAC address table. And is able to know which port. We have ports here. This one has 50 ports. Okay, obviously 2 are for the internet access. So 48 are working. So this switch is able to know where to send information. Is it port to this one, port to this one, is it this one? And that's why we segment these ports to VLANs, to be VLANs. Now the next one is called a router, ISR Cisco 4321 router. Why do we have a router? What's the role of this one? A router is able to connect devices from different networks. Let's say, for example, a device with 192.168.1.1, and then a device with IP address 192.168.2.3. These two devices are from different networks or subnets, and this is where a router will come in. It's able to connect the two devices. It has the routing function. It's able to do routing. Sometimes it's able to do firewall. Sometimes it's able to do, what else? A network address function. These are the roles of a router. A router is able to do all this with the use of IP address. It uses IP address to send data. And when data is in this router, they are called packets. Oh Lord, they are called packets. So once again, this one is able to use MAC address to send data from one device to another within the same local area network, while this one to connect devices from different networks or VLANs or subnets, and it's able to use IP address. And again, it has IP address table. This one has MAC address table. Now, what do we have here? This was my first one. It's called Netgear Smart Switch. This one has about 8 ports, and I was able to configure I think about 2 VLANs because it's too small. Yeah, 2 VLANs, virtual local area network. Yes, you are able to segment a network for the purposes of management, for the purposes of port security, and yada yada and so forth. Why do I have this now? I'm preparing for my CCNA exam in about July. And CCNA exam, you have to do more labs. You have to do hands-on projects. You have to know to configure switches, and there are Cisco switches, Cisco routers, Cisco firewalls. You have to know. You have to really know all this so that you can be a good network engineer. My ultimate goal is to be a network engineer. That's my end game. Though whatever I'm doing now, I'm studying cybersecurity and technology from somewhere, but that's not my end game. My end game is to be a network engineer so that I can be able to configure all this stuff. Yep, network engineering. And as you can see now, this system is working. If you see this red blinking, LEDs, it shows that the system is working. It's working, and it's good to go. Now, somebody is asking, how much? This one I purchased this from eBay. I think it was about $40 or $30. This one is $50 because, okay, this one, a new router is a bit expensive, and that's why I normally buy used routers which have been refurbished for the purposes of learning. This is for informational purposes only, for learning, to learn how to do stuff. Yeah, you know what? If you are into cybersecurity, or maybe you want to be a network engineer, at least you have to learn how to use these devices, how to configure them, how to do cabling like this. One of these days I will attach something here. Yeah, there is a panel I will have to attach at some point. I'm also waiting for a Cisco switch 2960, I think S, from eBay, and I'll be able to create more VLANs and then connect this to that switch. Now somebody's asking, what is this? This is called network attached storage device. It has what? It has about almost 18 terabytes, but obviously it is arranged in terms of RAID. So even though it's 18, you know what? The available storage would be around 9 terabytes. I normally use this as a server for, central point for photos, videos, YouTube videos, and it helps, This is my home lab. Yep. Yada. Okay. Maybe somebody wants to see my workstation also. That's my, you want to see that? Yeah, I have those. Yep. And this is my tower, Dell tower. I just like this. This is about 2 terabytes in terms of storage, 64 RAM, and it's expandable, you see. So, and this is my the laptop. Yeah, with this one I'm able to, I have virtual desktop here, hypervisor, I have a virtual machine, I have Kali Linux, I have 2022 Windows Server in this one. Yep, this is my home lab. Yep, this is for Linux stuff. So, and that's it, guys. This is what I've been doing. Yeah, what do you think? Do you like doing stuff, using your hands, configuring stuff, assembling stuff, especially network devices? And when I say network devices, these are maybe hubs, switches, routers, computers, laptops, network attached storage devices like that one, like this one, yeah, and so forth, or maybe server like that. I just like this. Thank you so much, guys. God bless you. The next step is to log into my PC, and maybe somebody may ask, what is all this? This is the login information. It's just a script I created just for the purposes of login. It's an interactive logon message, so that whenever somebody wants to access my PC, he or she has to acknowledge all these responsibilities, regulations. As you can see, it says what? System access notice, and then my name. Okay, let me Yeah, system access. It's saying system access. This PC and all the information contained therein belongs to me. And authorized access is strictly prohibited, and then blah blah blah, yada yada. Yeah, by proceeding, you acknowledge compliance with applicable cybersecurity and privacy regulation, and then you just click OK. And then the next step for my PC, I have to just fingerprint and yes, and that's it. And that's it for me. Now let's see how to configure a Cisco router to a console. And the first step after connecting the cable, you need to go to the start menu, right click, then you go to device manager, then it's loading, and then you have to go here where it says port. Click this one, and then as you can see, mine is USB serial device COM6. Take note of that, COM6. Then you go back to this body and make sure you choose serial connection type, and then you type whatever you saw in the device manager. For my case, it's 6. The next step is to click, just click open, and then let me bring it here, make it open. Then you can wait. Yeah, let's wait. Then you click enter, and then the question is, will you like to enter the initial configuration dialog? To be on the safe side, write no. No. Okay, the answer should be yes. Just type yes, then you click enter. And then as you can see, it's loading. Yep, it's loading. Okay, all the licenses, interface, okay. And then okay, still loading. Yep. Now, if you see this, that's good. Yeah, that should be good. And the next step is to click enable. I mean, to enable the global configuration mode, just click enable or en, whichever one you want to. Then you click enter, and then as you can see, it has now changed to this global configuration mode, which is good. The next step is to config T, which is configure the terminal. You can shorten it, or you just write. Yeah, I like to write in that way. Config T, and then you click enter. And then, so as you can see, even though I just shorten it to config T, configure terminal, it was successful. The next part is the host name. Let's change the host name. Yes, let's change the host name. just type host and then now you don't have, yeah, host name space, maybe that, and then we can calculate. We can do this and then hyphen, let's say router. And if we do this, it will change the name of this router. The name of the router, and then click enter. Boom, successful. Yeah. As you can see, it's now my name, Kirui Lab Router. And then, so once again, for this part, make sure it's complete. Don't do whatever I did. You just write host name, and then space, you write the name, Kirui Lab, and then router. The next step, yeah, let's configure the interface for the purposes of internet access. Yeah, my router is dealing with the gigabit Ethernet, you know, and so what we need to do, interface, and then interface, and then space, gigabit. I don't know if I'm faster. Gigabit Ethernet, then slash. Let me check my router. Yeah, it's just like that. That's the first interface. And then you click enter. It is good. That's the first interface for this one. And then the next one is, okay, IP address. Let's assign this router an IP address. So you just write IP, and then sometimes you may write, just shorten it, but let's do it in full to avoid the previous issues. IP address DHCP. Yeah, let's allow this to be automatically assigned through DHCP, and that should be okay. And if I that should be, yes. As you can see now, after executing this command, IP address DHCP, this configuration changed to configuration if, which is for IP, and it has changed. Now, let's translate now this IP address to the outside. For this router to communicate with the outside world or the internet, we have to do NAT network address translation. That should be the right name. And so what we do, we start with the outside. We have to do NAT for the outside, and then also we have to do for the inside. I mean, IP, then space, NAT, outside. You see? Let me confirm IP NAT, which is network address translation, and then click enter. Boom. The next step, we want to make this router not to shut down. So you just type the command. Remember, this is a form of Linux uh, commands. These are really part of Linux. No shutdown. And then you click enter. And then exit. Okay, it's still loading. Okay, it's just yeah, because I wanted to type. There is something I wanted to type. From this part, but it's okay. And the next part is to exit. Yeah, exit. We are exiting this executive mode to the normal mode. Global configuration mode. The next part, let's go now to the local area interface. The other one was for the outside, wide area network interface. So just type interface and then interface. I hope I'm not missing anything. Gigabit. And then Ethernet. And then it should be slash. That should be it. Enter, which is good. We are now going back to, as you can see this one now, going back to this executive mode, configuration mode. And then let's IP address. And I can assign this dot, let's say 10, just a random number. And then subnet for this is 255.255.255 dot 0. 255.255.250. That should be it. Click enter. Boom. The next step is to do network address translation from inside, IP inside, so that this router is able to communicate within LAN itself and then also outside LAN, which is one wide area network. So NAT inside. I feel like it's easy to do this configuration using this terminal, unlike the web-based GUI. Then you click enter. Boom. And then again, no shutdown. Keep this device alive and then enter. Yep. Yeah, the other time I had not waited up to this, but it's okay. Yep, good. Now, the next step, we want to exit this mode. We exit. Just exit. How about the DHCP pool? The range in which now this router will be functioning, you have to give that range for LAN clients for the purposes of IP address table. You know, so the next step is to do IP space DHCP, just a pool. Then you click enter, and then the next step is to which range now? What's the range? It's from where? Network, and then this IP address 192.168. And then no. Okay, 192.168.10.0. Okay, and then the subnet part of it. And then 0. Yeah. C class IP address. That's cool. And then let's give this router the default IP. Default IP. Default. You can do that. I don't know if it will be able to accept that hyphen, but let's try. Yeah. One thing about programming is that sometimes you have to try and see if it works. Boom. As long as you don't see anything invalid here, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. The next step, how about the DNS server? Yes. Let's link this to the default DNS server. And I would suggest maybe let's use Google. We can use also Cisco. We can use also Microsoft. But I like to use Google, which is 8.8.8.8. So DNS even server, and then space .8.8.8. This is for Google. There is one called now. Let's exit this mode. Yes, let's exit this mode. Just click exit. Yep. We are not yet there. Yeah. Now we need to ask ourselves, let's create access list. I mean, it's like a range. Yeah. Let's command this router to have that specific range. And obviously it would be like this one, 192.168.10.1. Yeah. Or maybe we start from 0. Yeah, it should be from 0. Yeah, just from 0. 192.168.10.0. And then we give a subnet. Okay. That should be good. So the next thing we say access, and there is a reason for this access list, and then space 1. We permit. Remember, this router is sort of like it's able to do firewall function. So you have to permit. You have to make some permission for this thing to work. Okay. 192. Let's use the same, because we don't want this to conflict with the default router IP. Let's put 0. Yeah, let's put 0, and then again another 0. I think, yeah, 0. I hope you saw the space, and then 0. To show what? To show we have nothing there, and then we close it with 255, which is the maximum extent of this. Yep. So take care. Yep. And then the next step, let's also do IP address NAT translation inside from this source list, and then interface gigabit 0. This one. I mean, we have to allow this in all interface. Is it all in this specific interface? Now 255. I can say IP. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. IP NAT, and then inside inside source. Yep. List. Then 1. This the same first list. Yeah. And which interface is this? Interface gigabit. Mine is using gigabit, not fast Ethernet. Yeah, I know for some people, sometimes you may be able to use fast Ethernet. Mine is using gigabit. Gigabit. I don't know if I'm typing right. Gigabit, and then Ethernet, and then 0/0, and then such kind. And then you can write overload. Yep. Yeah, it seems to be working. A new programmer in town. Yep. The next step, let's end this. And remind me to save this. There is a way of saving it. So you click end. Let's wait for a few minutes. Okay. And then the next part, we have to save this configuration. We can't just hit maybe file, save as. No. There is a command. It's called copy running configuration startup config. There's a way of saving. This is part of Linux system, or operating system, or commands. Yep. Let's do copy. and then running. Why are we running? And then hyphen config, and then why are we starting when the system start up, or reboot, whatever, and then config. Let's double check copy running. That's a way of saving. So whenever you are doing configuration for any router, remember this last part. You have to end, but you also have to save. And one way of saving is copy running hyphen config startup. Then that's a language for saving. Boom. So it's building the configuration now. You see, as you can see, I successfully encrypted private file, private config file. It's saved somewhere. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Different network. You see this 192.168.10.0 with CIDR 24. It's a different subnet or network from this one. Yeah. But they're able to connect because of the router. Yeah. Yep.